don't think.
I don't think so. Perfect. Come up and introduce you guys. So thanks so much for being here. I don't know if I'm in the camera. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah.
I don't see.
I'm gonna come between you guys. There we go. All right. Well, thanks everybody so much for coming. I'm so excited. We had such a great month of September and such a fantastic turnout for all of our PC folks that, are we good? Okay, that came back to talk about, what their path has been and what's worked for them in the real estate industry to get them to where they are today. And I deliberately had these guys be together and last because they were my first two people in coaching. Actually, we were meeting even before I was the productivity coach. I remember over at Stevens Circle. And so they were here right from the start, so they can tell you, what that looked like for them. Because I know in particular, new people or people who are growing their business, it's hard to listen to top producing people who you think have been doing this for a really long time and lose sight of the fact that they were new at one point too. And so I know these guys have lots of stuff to share, so I'm just going to let them go ahead and tell us all about what their business is looking like today and what their path has been. And you guys can ask any questions and your struggles along the way. We want them to hear about, because it isn't just I went from here to here and it didn't take a lot of hard work. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Eric Henry and Jillian Johnson, and I'm going to get out of the way here. Thank you
Go
guys.
ahead and start.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Jillian, as Gina said. I have been licensed for almost 7.5 years and have never been with another brokerage other than Keller Williams Legacy Group. So that has been such a blessing, such a learning and education focused company has been so important for me. I am 39 years old, married to my husband. We've been married for 12 years and we have one son, Ben. He is 9 years old. So that's just a little introduction.
Eric Henry, my voice is a lot louder than Julian's.
Yes.
My wife will say, "Can you talk softly?" And I said, "I don't think I can." So I won't be soft here either. Actually, I will be licensed in real estate 7 years next week on October 2nd. I started with Keller Williams and have never been anywhere else either. I was eager to learn, eager to grow, eager to get started. It was between two brokerages. I loved both the people that I interviewed with. And it ended up here because at Keller Williams, it said faith, family, and business.
Mm-hmm.
And those were important to me. Those were the how I wanted to live my life. And I think it's important because I don't sell my soul to the devil to get business. I work hard. I follow up. I do what needs to be done. And that's really kind of how I built my business. I need you to hear that when I first started in real estate, I started in October. It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I went 5 or 6 months without selling one house. And I was working harder than anybody that I could see around me.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to hear that. I stuck with it and I was able to build my business from there. And what was important to me was really the PC group was so instrumental for me because it gave me friends, it gave me alliances. I was at every training that I could be at. It didn't matter if I listened to it a second time. I was learning and growing, and I wanted to be the best agent that I could be. And the only way I could do that was to show up. And it's more than just showing up. It's doing something with that. And, failing forward was kind of I don't want to use the word I failed forward, but you're not going to win every situation. And I think that's just important to understand is that you're learning no matter what happens. You're learning what you don't want to do again. You're learning what you want to do again. And I think that's really the importance of it. And the environment that is here is second to none. It really is. I mean, I listen to other people that come here and they tell me this is the best place to be. And I don't know any different other than I love where I'm at. I love the people where I'm at. And the productivity program was just getting started. Heck, Gina was learning as we went through it too.
That's right.
What I can tell you is, yeah, what I can tell you is that it's better than it was when I was there, and I'm successful because of it. I tell Gina, she'll tell you, I wouldn't be where I am without Gina today. And I sell a lot of real estate.
I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. So I was in productivity coaching with another coach, as soon as I was licensed. And, I was the only person in productivity coaching. I don't know if we just had like a lapse in bringing agents in or what, but, I sold my first house, closed on my first house, 35 days after I was licensed. So I kind of hit the ground running. I rely heavily and always have on my sphere. So, and I have a very supportive and very large family. So, that helped me tremendously at the beginning. And then Gina actually came in to teach a class to just me, a listing class, with my previous productivity coaching. So our company decided to move forward and bring Gina on, and it was just so instrumental in my business to learn as much as I could, because as you're all sitting here, you know that your real estate classes teach you nothing on how to sell a house, like at all. So, you know, you're learning laws and rules and morals and all of that that is so important as a foundation, but you do not have the skills to go out there and kind of implement all of that. So Gina held my hand through it. We had a small group at the beginning. It was just Eric and I at first, and then we had, you know, a few, maybe half a dozen. It was great to have such a close, in my opinion, just a close knit group together to learn with each other. And so I was licensed the beginning of June. Fast forward, I mean, she has been literally like the foundation of my business, the education that I've learned from her. Fast forward to Christmas Eve of that year of, what was it, 2018?
I remember this phone conversation.
Yes, I'm literally trying to get under contract in a back bedroom at my mom's house at our Christmas Eve dinner. And, not knowing really what I was doing. So, but we got under contract and I sold that house. So my business has changed, and ebbed and flowed throughout the years. I had some pretty serious health issues come up, and Eric, also has, you know, throughout his years being licensed. So personally, I actually have not sold a house in a year. But I think that the most important thing that I have learned is not to compare your journey to someone else's. You can look around the room and see people selling dozens of homes a year. Success looks different for everyone. Success for me is, do I have time with my family? Do I have time to be involved in my local church? And are my bills paid and am I debt free? So all of that is accomplished. And in real estate, to be able to kind of cater your business to your lifestyle is really important. I think it's the best part of real estate. So.
And I love that you said that, because obviously you're still here. You're
Yes.
still in it, even though you haven't sold a house in the past year, because it could look different through the years for you.
Yeah.
Just like it's different for everyone in business, your years could look different year to year.
Yeah.
But you're still sticking it in there, and it's gonna look different next year too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I actually look at it as a blessing to be in this business, to have taken the last year to focus on getting back to better health. And you know, I also, it's just kind of a level of self-awareness. A year ago, I was like, I cannot show up for my clients in the way that they are going to need. And you know, any sales industry anyways is going to ebb and flow. And then, you know, I have this business that I have built and it's, like you said, it's still there. And I'm now at a position where it's like, okay, let's get back into it, ready to go, so.
So tell us a little bit about, let's rewind at the beginning. What were some of the things that you focus on besides the different trainings? Because you guys were definitely one of my top attendees. You came to things, like you were dedicated to your business. We had a nice little group, as you said, and that group of people came to nearly everything, if not everything. And you all got to know each other in that group because you were all coming in nearly every day. And definitely the coaching program looked very different then. It's way more structured now. I think we were kind of loosey-gooseying it. We did a group text instead of the Viber chat. And it was kind of like, hey guys, I'm running an offer today. Who wants to come in and learn how to do it? Rather than actually having, like, I don't even think I was on a calendar back then. I'm certain of it, actually. So we just did it as the weeks went on and we kind of learned and went, to wherever we've gotten to today. But like, what were the things? Because I know agents are always thinking like, how do I explore sources of business? What's gonna be that one thing for me? What do you test drive and decide to return? Like how did that look like in the beginning for each of you guys? Your door knocks.
I door knocked hundreds of doors, hundreds, that's not an exaggeration. Just trying to generate business because I didn't have money to spend on leads because I didn't have any money coming in. I did open houses, I would beg for open houses. My first listing and my first sale were from an open house. So if people say open houses don't work, they do if you can work it. And it's just like anything over time. You may have to do 10 or 15 or 20 open houses to get that one buyer, but you're not paying anything for it. So wouldn't it be worth it at that point to do that? I sent out mailers. It was about a year into my business that something came up that was called Op City. And I signed up for it right away. And I started getting leads from that and people that I could talk to on the phone. And, a lot of people didn't want it because you had to pay a referral of 35%. 20%, it's some, if it was just a really crappy lead, or nobody wanted it. If it cycled through, you could pay 20% and get a good lead or a lead, not necessarily a good lead. But just like anything else, even though you're talking to them, there's no 100% guarantee of that. That probably happened in 2020. That was the same year that I had cancer. So everybody that may know my story, I battled cancer and dealt with that for a full close to a year, trying to get stronger after it because it was pretty bad. And that's the graph that's on my neck. I had to really kind of curtail what I was doing in 2020, but I still did $2 million that year. And people are asking, how are you still selling houses or why are you still selling houses? Well, I was the main breadwinner and provider for my family. The year after that, where I was back to being healthy, I want to tell you that I closed 19 or 21 deals through Op City. It helped me cap. And the following year, it was either 19 or 21. I forget what it was. Did I pay a lot of money for those leads? Because you pay on the referral or on the close? Yes. I probably paid 24 to 26,000 both years, but I made money, and the leads that were my own that I was generating other ways, I earned 100% commission on because I was capped. So you can't be afraid to take a lead where you're paying a referral because I talk to a lot of people here and I have since I've left coaching. Some money's better than no money. And it allowed me to pay for gas or whatever it could be. But like, it's just really trying to, since then I still do Op City, but I started buying some Zillow leads. And Zillow leads have been another great source for me. And even this year, I tried to get into Dave Ramsey where I could get leads from there. 3 years ago, and they called me this year. So like I was able to interview multiple times with multiple people. And I have that as a source of leads now. Again, it takes about 6 months, maybe a year, once you start getting these leads to see what can happen from that. Because even though they've raised their hand and said, hey, I'm ready, sometimes they're not really ready. They may not be ready financially. They may not be ready until the right house shows up. So, but that's just kind of like my leads. And then obviously my sphere of influence is big. People that I know, people that I've gone to church with over the years, and then my family's well connected as well. So it's just those are kind of like my lead sources.
Mhm.
And then referrals. Like I've taken leads that have given me leads where I'm not paying a referral on. So I've had an Op-City lead, gave me somebody, a sibling to buy a house, and they still haven't. But like, so I didn't have to pay on the first one or the second one that I was referred to.
And so what would you say today is the main source of your business now?
Probably more Zillow because I focused on Zillow.
Yeah.
Because of where I'm at, those are better leads than the Op-City, but like I closed 2 Op-City leads in February, one sell, one buy. I ended up having to pay 40%, which was painful. And I was not capped at that point, so like it is what it is, but now I was capped like a month and a half later. And I was capped because of that. One was $400,000 sale and one was 230. I've closed an Op-City lead that I had to pay in May. They hit the 2 years in May. So in June, when they sold, I didn't have to pay. So over 2 years, that's what Op-City is. So like, it's just, I've gotten 3 buyers under contract in the last 10 days. 400,000. I met them September 24th last year. 220,000. I met them June of last year. And then another one that's at 400,000 that I just started helping, that they were casually looking. And they're going to list when I'm done. So like, that was from my wife's work. But like, so like, it's just like, you just don't know when the phone's going to ring, and it's been on and off. Like I struggled in September. I only closed 2 houses.
Some people might think,
So,
really, that's my goal.
yeah, but that's just for me.
Yeah.
Like, I closed 1.3 million in August. I'm only gonna close less than 200 in September. And with what I just got, I'm gonna close 1.3 million again in October. So like, business is there, and it's just, there's cycles where it's up, cycles where it's down. I just need you to hear that, like, I go through some of the same things that you guys do. When I was in your chair right there, I had to work harder than somebody that may be sitting up here, just because I didn't have the sphere. I didn't have the leads that were kind of like coming, that were a year old, 2 years old. The one that bought, they didn't even want to sign the buyer representation agreement 2 years ago when I met. I had to sign it at the house, which is not really what I wanted to do 2 years ago. But like, they bought, they sold. They would trust me with anybody else that's buying and selling and refer me to other people.
And it's timely to hear you talk about Op-City because we just got it back. So those doors had been closed for quite some time, so that just reopened back up again. They have enough leads now, they can open it back to, other agents. And just hearing you talk, like, you have SOI business, now you have repeat business, probably, and referral business, yet you're still working internet leads.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say, like, to me, when I hear you say you're now buying Zillow leads, someone might think, well, I can't afford that, but I guess my thought is, if I sell some Op-City houses that I have to pay a chunk of a referral, maybe my Op-City money pays for my Zillow leads, or however you want to
It
look at
could, and you can start small and move up in that, but you just need to get some consistent business, because you gotta lock in, and the zip codes have to be available, or you can't get Zillow leads anyhow. And there's not a lot that's available around here with Zillow, so you need to go with something, because I think if you could get 6 sales from there, that would be a great year. Like, I'm just telling you, the year I had 19 and the year I had 21, I was the number 2 agent in this area. Out of, I don't know how many hundreds of agents, just in volume and the number of closes. And at one point, I want to say, when you could track numbers, I had, of all the houses that went through Up City, I probably had 25% of the sales. Just myself, because I was selling that many. But it helped me cap, and it helped me make money, and it helped me pay my bills, and I know people were like, I'm never gonna pay that. That's okay. I did it because that's my path.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to other people that talk and they took a different path. They're successful. Great. Nobody has to do what Eric does or what Jillian does or whoever. You just need to do something that works.
Yeah, I think that it's like grit and determination and finding your one thing, you know, I've never paid for a lead. I have only had my sphere of influence and referrals, repeat business. And that's my thing, you know, that's my thing. So, but there's nothing wrong that if you feel led to buy leads, like that's his thing and that might be your thing. So, and there's like Eric does a whole mix of all of that. And those are all his things. So I think it's just finding the one thing that works, get your business rolling, and then stay determined, get that grit. And for me, like I have always said this, like my business comes from God, and I'm obviously a Christian. So I am always full of gratitude for all the business that comes my way. Anybody that mentions my name in a room, I'm super grateful for them. And yeah, that's my thing. So God is my thing, and then he brings it up. So yeah.
And as we've learned the whole month of September, when we've had guests come in and talk, you know, somebody was talking about how they were successful with social media, while others are successful with for sale by owners or open houses. So there's just so many different things.
Yeah.
So when things were, Eric, I'm gonna direct this one to you. I specifically remember a time in probably your first year, or at least your first year with me, where you were to that, I don't know if I'm gonna continue in real estate because I don't know that I can make it work. And then not shortly after that, you broke through that glass ceiling and then saw success. So tell us a little bit about that path and what that looked like to you, and when you were like, I don't know if this is gonna work, because so many people that crosses their mind at one point, and what they don't know is, which right on the other side of that, if you keep plugging forward, is the success that you don't even know is there.
Yeah, it was probably that open house that I did, and I can remember the couple. They were getting ready to leave, and they were apprehensive about giving me their name and phone number, but I got it. And that turned into my first listing and my first sale.
I think I remember that.
And you know what? I was looking around, and when you're not selling anything and you're seeing other people that are selling houses, like it's tough. But like I never lost hope, I never gave up. And I think that's what really started it. And I think just the mailers that I sent out to enough people, like when I sent them out, I would send out like 100 at a time. Because like I was just sending it out to everybody that I knew. I did my database and I put their addresses in and I did all that research, and I think some of that just started to change at that point. And you know, my first year, even though I went that 5 or 6 months without sale and was so discouraged and so frustrated, I ended up selling, I think it was like 10 houses that first year, and I did just a little bit over $1 million. And then fast forward to the next year, so that was 2019. 2020, that's the year I battled cancer. I did 20 houses and just over 2 million. And then the very next year where I was back, I went from 2 million, I sold 6 million in 2021. So I was done with everything, treatment, cancer, and sold 42 houses that year. The following year, I did just under 6 million, like I think 5.8. I sold 41 houses. The following year, 2023, I did just over 5 million, so I went back a little bit again, but sold 31 houses. 2024 last year, I sold 37 houses, hit 7.5 million. And through September, I was at 6.3 million, 28 houses. And I'm gonna close 1.3 million in October, so like I'm pushing close to 8 million at the end of October with 2 months left, so it's just about being consistent and never giving up. I mean, 6 months with nothing and never giving up has led me to kind of where I'm at today. And I get leads from people that I would never expect. I reach out to people. I send out 300 calendars for the fridge every year, and probably half of them don't make it onto a refrigerator, but there are some that do. And it's about that reminder every December, Eric is still selling real estate. And I think it's just trying to stay that top of mind.
When you're sending your mailers, what are you sending? What is that?
Well, when I sent out the mailers, it was just like, hey, I'm Eric Henry, I'm into real estate now. Please let me know if you have anybody or know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. So like, I would love you to keep me in mind. Here's my email, send them a business card with that as well. And just hope that's what I did. I did that multiple times.
What about you, Jillian? So you have a big sphere. Most of your business is coming from past clients, referrals, and your sphere of influence. So how did you stay in front of them so that they thought of you, so that way your business could grow that way?
Well, like I said, I have a really supportive family that I have like a big Italian family and lots of cousins. There's 17 grandchildren. So many of them are the ones that would bring my name up in a room. My cousin Anthony specifically, he's a financial advisor. And that is just building genuine relationships. And outside of that, I also have almost always worked in food and beverage as well. And I am not shy to tell guests that are sitting at my table that I work in real estate. I tell every single table that still to this day. And I have gotten sales from that. And I am like a deeply feeling person. So my clients become my friends, and it is a genuine friendship. And so, I just stay in contact with them, text them. I genuinely want to text them and find out, how they're doing, how their kids are, how's their dog. And so I think just really being consistent with building genuine relationships with other agents, with your broker, with your productivity coach, and your lenders, all of that, and just talking about real estate, letting people know all the time that, and in a genuine way. Like, yeah, I'm working this deal, or I met this client, and yeah, I'm in real estate. And I know, like at the beginning, Akila always wore her name tag everywhere. I never really did that, just because I'm a talker. I like to talk, and so I just tell people what I do for a living. And yeah, I think it's just being genuine and being consistent with bringing it up in conversation in a way that makes sense. You don't want to just, they're like telling you about their grandma and you're like, oh, by the way, if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell, just give them my number.
When people know you're in real estate too, they want to talk to you. They want to ask you questions.
Yeah.
They really do. And it's just like, just being genuine with them.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I had that conversation yesterday at the park. So kind of to just like the grit and determination. My son is homeschooled, and when I was first licensed, he was 2 years old. And he came to class with me all the time. He asked me
You
what
used
I
to
was
sit on my
doing
lap.
today. He actually asked me to say hello to both of you. And I was at the park yesterday, with a group of moms from our church, and one of the mothers asked me, how's real estate? And I mean, I was honest. I said, well, I haven't sold a house in a year, but I'm like finally feeling better and ready to get back into it. And she's like, okay, great. Jacob and I are thinking about listing our house. So, they do want to ask when you've built those relationships, they want to ask, they want to know like, how is the market and is it a good time to list and all of that. So just staying educated with your numbers, what the market is looking like, so you can answer their questions truthfully is, I think, important too.
What else? Any questions specifically about anything they've talked about or any other thoughts?
I have a question. So I tried to purchase Zillow leads, but I was not really successful with the clients I was bringing in. I actually do have one client. It took me about 6 months to finally get her ready. And then another client, she's going through like a divorce right now, so that's going to be a while. But overall, how much do you suggest we invest into Zillow leads? Because I did it for 6 months and I wasn't really getting anything from it.
When I first started doing it, I started out probably spending more than I should have.
Yeah.
And I went 4 to 5 months with really not much as well.
Okay.
You just heard me say that I've got 3 leads under
Yeah.
contract that I don't want to use the word chasing, but I was chasing.
Nurturing.
Yeah, chasing for 1 year.
Uh-huh.
2 of those 3 were from Zillow.
Okay.
So like, it's just a matter of time and you just can't give up. And it's always easier to start out with a smaller amount and then increase it, but you can only increase it if the zip code and the dollar amount's there and available.
Yeah.
Jillian, you just said something at the end. I didn't sell the house for a year, but I'm ready to get into it. I wasn't feeling well, whatever the case was.
Mhm.
Just made me think about when tough life happens,
Yeah.
and it will, we all take our turns. So during that time, were you still probably approached with opportunities? And were you able to refer those out, or what would you say?
Yes.
Just for
Yes.
someone that's thinking, oh, this is happening, now my career's over. It's not.
Right.
So
Yes.
if you just. talk
Yeah,
about that.
so we work in an incredible company that I know so many agents that I know will give the care that I would have to clients. So I have referred business out in that time, and it is just a little bit of money, 25% referral fee typically. Yes, I have. It's a nice little bonus of I'm actually not doing any work. I'm just connecting the right people. So yes, that has been a benefit. So we just, life happens, and I am not in the same position as Eric. I have a breadwinner husband at home who, can pay our bills. So that is a huge blessing to me as an individual. And for us, and my husband said this from the very beginning, we will not go into debt for you to have a career in real estate. And so it's why I have never invested in leads, monetarily speaking. Our house is paid off. We don't carry any debt at all. And that's really, really important for our family. And I don't suggest it, especially to a new agent where you're just trying to get your footing. Investing monetarily in leads, I think, is something that should come when you're making money and you can pour that money back into your business. That's my personal opinion. But you don't want to get to the end of your first year in real estate and you're like $10,000 in debt. You have all of your licensing fees, everything that's due. And you're like, I've only sold one house so far, and I just have to, I have to carry this debt over. I think that is, starting out with your sphere of influence and starting out with just door knocking, and staying consistent with those things. And then it's like smart money moves, you're like making an investment, in different ways in your business as it continues.
Anybody else? Anyone on Zoom? Have any questions?
I do not have any chats.
They hate us.
This is your chance, guys, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about door knocking, the importance of it? Did you find it was successful? Was it a waste of time?
Doing something is better than doing nothing, so you gotta just find the right niche. I would talk to people and they would be mortified to go knock on someone's door.
I've never knocked on a door.
I can tell you that I almost prefer that versus calling people on the phone because I was there and being genuine. I can't tell you that I gained much from it, other than I put my name out there a little bit, and that was the extent of it. By the time they were ready, I was probably long lost and forgotten,
Yeah.
where a text or a phone call or an email or some kind of nurturing campaign would have probably been better. But when you don't have the names, the phone numbers, the emails, you got to do something that's there. And that's really getting in front of people. It's all a numbers game.
Well, and I think it shows that you were willing to do anything.
Mhm.
It
I
gave
mean, I
me,
remember you on Thanksgiving morning that day, that year, and you were outdoor knocking.
Mhm.
And I was like, Eric, come on, it's a holiday. Give us a day off."
It's like when everybody's home.
Yeah.
hey. Or maybe I wanted turkey too, Gina,
But I
see my family.
so is this, again, this is the amount of hours I have to work.
Mhm.
And I need to fill that time with things that are going to bring me business. And if I want to be successful in real estate, I'm going to have to do whatever it takes and try different things to find whatever's going to work. So maybe you didn't get direct business from the hundreds of houses that you went to, but it just goes to show you were willing to do whatever it took.
But I also think by every conversation I had, I was more prepared to talk to the next person.
Mhm.
It gave me more confidence in doing that, and that's everything that's there. People that I talk with and they're like, somebody hung up on me, somebody was rude to me. And what I tell them is then celebrate that, because you don't have to waste another ounce of energy on them. That's better than trying to call somebody 5 times and them not answering. So, celebrate if that happens. And if you do mess up, you do make a mistake, just learn from that and don't be that way the next time you're having
Failure
a
is a
conversation.
gift. Failure is a gift.
Mhm.
No one looks at it that way, but you have to understand, it's what, if everyone always won, who would be winning?
Mhm.
So failure is a gift to teach you, what it feels like, and it also teaches you what maybe to do different next time. And then you can appreciate, I'm sure that you guys both appreciate the business that you've been able to have over the past 7 years, because it didn't come easy.
Yeah, for sure.
It still doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's kind of a sick joke in real estate where it feels like you're unemployed every year and having to start over.
Yeah.
Like if I don't do things,
I
it
really-
doesn't matter how many years, I'm in the business. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell houses next year if I'm not visible or doing something.
Mhm.
It doesn't just fall out of the sky.
Mhm.
I mean, people that I talk to, they say to me, things, and I'm like, listen, I'm not doing anything special. I answer my phone, I make phone calls.
Mhm.
That's
So important.
That's how I get leads, and people are like, well, I can remember one agent told me, well, I'd have to disagree because you're outgoing, you're friendly, you're not pushy, and she went down this whole list of things. And to me, that's nothing special, because that's what I should be to everybody that I speak with. I should be genuine. I should not be pushy.
Mhm.
I don't want to come from a sign of desperation. I don't want people to be mean to me. I will fire them. I will say, I'm not the right agent for you.
Mhm.
Find somebody else. Like, you're better off doing that and trying to get a new lead that's going to treat you with respect.
Mhm.
The value that I provide requires that.
Yeah. Having
Can't be mean
boundaries.
to me. I mean, I'd have people mean to me, cussing at a lender, and I'm like, I'm on your team. Like, what are you like? Why are you yelling at me? I'm on your team.
Yeah.
Like, we're here to close the deal.
Yeah.
And I think just like, don't settle and don't be in that position. And it's hard. Like when you're working and starting out new, it's hard. It's still hard. I just told you, I mean, I've closed probably 35 million at the end of October, since I've been in real estate, 210 homes roughly. I don't know the exact number. It's still hard every day.
I do have one more question. I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Bianca.
What was your conversion rate like the first year? Did you feel like you lost more clients than you gained clients and, or was it kind of half, or, you know what I mean? Like, what was that like for you?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I really,
Okay, yeah,
I mean, I think you're building your business and every year you're in it, you hopefully have more clients, I'll just tell you, this year I went through my phone and, I had like 1,900 contacts in my phone. And I went back and what I started doing is I started putting my contacts in there. And this is something you want to do. I put like buyer or seller or buyer or listing. Then I would put their name. And then if it was an Op City lead, I would put Op City and the date I got them. So it's Zillow and the date I got them. It was the name and then Jillian gave me a referral or whatever it might be. And it allows me to keep track of where they were from. So anybody that was older than 2 years, I deleted. So I got rid of and I've been in 6.5 years when I did that, and I've never purged my phone. So I'm deleting this person because I haven't heard from them. Why do I want to keep them in my phone?
Mm.
And I went from almost 2,000 down to 1,500. Now, a lot of what's in my phone are agents that I've done deals with or I've spoken with, because if I'm doing a deal with you, you go on my phone as a contact because I want to know who's calling me. But I would do that with whoever you're dealing with. And then the most important thing that I thought of this year was I want to know if I'm working with a buyer, when does my buyer representation agreement expire? So then I put next to the lead where it came from, BA 12/31/25. So I know when I'm on my phone, when that buyer agency thing expires, because I have to have a new one signed before I do that. So you want to, and it's about staying organized, structured, and then also staying within the law, which is what's keeps us having our license. So that's just something I do. Or you need to put it on a board, or you need to put it somewhere where you know when that expires, because you're not going to remember.
I mean, it sounds like a great way to track and tagging, if you will, if you were using command for that, the same
Yeah.
way, but you're using your phone, which I think is great too. So Kiva, to know your numbers for conversion, just if that's something you're interested in, you have to track everything. The whole, I don't know my own, most people don't, but if it is something you're interested in, because sometimes it's not a lead gen problem, it's a conversion problem,
Mhm.
right? And so then you can kind of fine tune, what am I not doing right that I'm not converting this group of people, whether it's I'm not converting internet leads or I'm not converting open houses. To know what those are for the next year, you have to track really good. So anyone who's interested in knowing what your numbers are for that, you better be tracking them someplace in your database. You better be doing like what you're saying. Where did I get them? When did I, first talk to them, and are they signed with the buyer's agency? And that way it's much easier to be able to track after a full year of keeping numbers and then to look back to see what those rates are. Maybe a tag for everyone that I met from open house versus everyone I got on the internet. And wow, 25% of the houses I sold came from this. Do you know what I'm saying? And then that following year, you can say, okay, I didn't convert anybody from open house. So what's the problem? Maybe it's the script. Maybe it's you did nothing with them after they signed up, they signed in, that's how you kind of can track some conversion stuff.
I think sometimes A buyers become B or C.
Mhm.
B or C become A. What I can tell you is that with the Zillow app that I use, and I use that to document a lot of what I do, my close percentage is at 41%. Which their goal for you is to be a minimum of 12.
Awesome. What else, guys? Anybody on Zoom? I think everyone's just hungry and they're like, we want to get out there to that racing issue.
I would say just one thing is that whoever's in this room, you need to network with, be your friend. Because you need to understand, one of the things that was important to me was I had people that I could talk with and understand that they're in the same boat that I'm in.
Which is something that like we've had in and out over the years with the groups that we've had of people in coaching, but I will say 100%, and I do believe it. This is so true. The more things you guys come to, and in particular, no offense to those on Zoom, in person, you're going to make those connections. And I know from like, I'm imagining Stephen's circle in the training room and like 8 of us being in there. I can picture call night in that room and us practicing scripting with each other. Like you guys fed off of each other's energy. And that besides the support with each other, you fed off of each other's energy. And so you guys really, if you're committed to your real estate business, like you both are, you have to show up. We're not just teaching classes because I like to hear myself talk. I do like to hear myself talk, but not that much. In any case, you have to be there, and then those relationships do start to, you know, become important, just like you guys all this time later. I mean, in my mind, I always grouped people in coaching in little groups of like 3 and 4 people throughout the years, because those were people that became really good friends. And sometimes, well, in particular in the past few years, because of Zoom, we've gotten away from that. The personalized relationships are different than they used to be. But I love this group and I love the size of this today. I would love to see this every Monday. We used to have, I mean, there used to be so many people in Dominate Your Week, if you guys remember, that we did Dominate Your Week for 2 hours back then. Now it's an hour. And we sometimes didn't even get to every person in the 2 hours because so many people were there for that.
It's crazy.
I think another thing that would be very important, and it was to me, is that when you're here in the office, network with agents that are a front of you. Let them be your friend. Ask them questions.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many people that I've talked with over the years. There's a lot of the PC group that used to come with me on showings, listing appointments, inspections, talk with me. I'm always trying to role play. I'm 7 years in and I still role play with one person every Monday morning at 8 a.m. I check in with my transaction coordinator at 7:45, then at 8 o'clock is my role play with one person that I kind of network with and work with. You guys need to role play too, is so that you're prepared. Fail with the person that's friendly versus the person you're trying to do business with. And I learn from role playing with newer agents just as much as they learn from me. Now, they may think that's different, but I really do, because it's reinforcing good habits with me.
When you're teaching, you're responsible for somebody else, so you have to really be on the top of your game. And like, I learned more about real estate in the time that I've been coaching than I did the 20 years before that. Because you have to, and it helps you when you're teaching other people. So I think when you're having people shadow you, or you're scripting with someone who's newer, you know you gotta be on top of it because you're influencing this person. So. Love it.
Can I say one thing about the networking thing?
Yeah.
Gina and I were talking about, all of the newbies in the room today. Me being one of them. So if there are any new people in the room that want to get together with me and do training, that would help me out, but it would also help you out as well. And we can, message each other, get together, whatever you want to do. Just let
Thank
me
you.
know.
And thank you for
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Yeah, that's good.
And you gotta set a time that's consistent. And you gotta block that time out.
Yeah.
Like, and nothing can come in the way of that, like, other than just emergencies. And if you try to do it in the middle of the day, it's never gonna happen, because somebody's gonna have a showing, somebody's gonna have an inspection, somebody's gonna have whatever's there. But it's important to be consistent, or you need to find somebody different.
Yeah, good point. Well, and that goes for a few things. your accountability partner for sure. I mean, it's kind of like this. I hate to go to the gym, but if someone's there waiting for me, I'm probably more likely to go, right? And same, the things I don't want to do, I do first in the day because you will make excuses all day and then you won't do it, such as talking to your accountability partner or role playing and scripting. But you guys hear me say this all the time. If it's on your calendar, it doesn't just get taken off. You either move it or you make the decision that something else is gonna have to work around it. I've said it a million times, nothing makes me more annoyed when someone says, I can't come, or I'm not gonna come to the class I said I was going to because I have a home inspection, or because I'm showing a house. If you're coming to something like a team meeting or a class or something is on your calendar, you should be working those other things around it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me think, oh, yay, Heba's showing a house today. I think this, Heba's not a great manager of her time. I'm only just pulling out there that.
She knows you.
For real. But that if it was on my calendar, like I don't move it if I'm teaching a class.
Mhm.
I don't say, hey, guys, I got this $1 million house I'm gonna be showing today during the time I was supposed to be teaching you stuff. So it's the same. You guys should be running your business like a business. And if it's an appointment on your calendar and that means coming to something, the home inspection needs to be worked around that time. You don't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And listen, I do follow up, call people at the home inspection, as long as I'm
Yeah.
not needed with the home inspector or my clients have questions. Sometimes I can get more done than others. But there's probably almost never a home inspection that I've been at that I haven't made 3 to 5 phone calls, attempts to call somebody. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. But use that time, and then the home inspectors is like, you're one of the few people that ever does that.
I mean, I would bring work to a home inspection. I'd go to sit at the kitchen table and just to be present. And that goes for open house too. Suppose nobody comes and you feel like you wasted an hour and a half. What I would do is I would bring work and work on my social media content for the week or something like that. So that doubles down as like good use of your time
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I think that that's super important. Looking at your calendar, time blocking and showing up even when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when you have a toddler with you, literally on your lap and playing on the floor. If your business is a priority to you, treat it like it's a priority. And
And yeah, Ben was an honorary member of PC,
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, he's a very special boy and he learned a lot. He learned a lot. He was with me nearly all of my home inspections. He was with me. I've showed houses with him. He's been an ever-present boy in all of my business. So, but it's for him anyway. So, it's good.
Well, thank you guys so much. It was exciting to have you
Thanks
here
for
and
having us.
I look forward to us hanging out. Yeah.
So if anybody ever wants to call me or talk with me, I'm available. Like, I just say that to everybody. I don't need all 20 of you in here calling me, but like, Gina,
Call me too, if you
people
want.
that talk with me is like, I tell them, I never want to be Gina. I never want to replace Gina. But sometimes it's nice to have somebody else that you can talk to, ask for advice. And I think those are the people that you need to meet that are here in this office.
Mhm.
Because our office, the culture is different than everywhere else. And then the other thing is that, and this is for me just as much, maybe even more than most of you is AI is going to be the new internet. Like, you either embrace AI or you're going to be chasing AI. And I heard that said this week, and there was a lot when I went to the Ohio Realtor Convention last Sunday through Wednesday. There were several different things on AI there. And my mind just spins listening to people talk about it and what they're doing with it. And I'm so far behind right now. I know that. There's still time to catch up. But if you wait another year, you may never catch up to whoever's there. So I just want to throw that out there on AI.
It's kind of like, I can remember when an agent said to me when I was at Cutler, are you even gonna work internet leads? Do you think that's something we should do or should we just ignore it?
Mm.
Like, I remember that being like a choice back then, because it was such a new thing.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know, I don't think I want to. But like, it's the same way with AI too, like there's groundbreaking things that have happened throughout business. Again, I was in real estate when there was binders of black and white photocopies of listings in the back of the office, like in alphabetical order before we got the MLS. So like, that was the last groundbreaking thing right there, the MLS, and now it's AI, so I totally agree with that. And we will teach you classes along the way too. Awesome, guys, please stay, lots of food, some wine out there. And I look forward to everybody talking from past and present
Yeah.
and. And keep on